Do you have $10,000 sitting inside your bank account earning the pathetic 0.05% base interest and you want to invest it wisely for better returns? Then you need to watch this video to the end where I will share with you on the various investment strategies and their pros and cons. Without further ado, let's dive in. And before we dive right into the various investment options, I want to say a quick disclaimer here. Please don't take this video as any form of recommendation and please do your own due diligence. Moving on, the first step before you want to start investing your $10,000 is to find out your own financial circumstances. And according to a Sidley chart over here, there are several times where you will need this $10,000. For instance, you have a study loan to pay, or you have a marriage coming on, and maybe you want to renovate your house, or is it maybe further down the line where you will need to store up some funds for your kids' university fees. Alright, so that will all help to decide how much risk you are willing to take and how long you can wait for the payoffs. And in this video, I'm going to assume you have chucked this $10,000 aside for simply investing and go through the various investment strategies and give some examples along the way. So make sure you watch until the end of the video to understand which one is more suitable for you. So first off, we have what we are all familiar with, fixed deposits and high yield savings accounts where you can get anywhere from a hassle-free 1% to a decent 3 to 5% interest on your savings balance. By doing some kind of spending, right, you use your gyro to pay 3 bills and salary credit. And next, alright, but do take note of the tiny weeny T's and C's when it comes to getting the interest rates. For instance, the UOB1 account, the maximum effective interest rate for 100,000 balance will be an overall 5%. 5%, because the 7.8% rate advertised is only for the remaining last 25,000 balance. And in addition, you can also look at money market funds, okay, like the Cash Plus account from Tiger Brokers or Mumu, where you just need to deposit fresh funds and like you can achieve 6.8% returns for a specific time period, say 60 to 80 days. And if you're interested in this time limited offer, you can check out my affiliate links down below to sign up for a free account either with Tiger Brokers or Mumu itself. For this strategy itself, personally, I feel that the main aim here is to optimize your cash holdings, okay, while you wait for some milestone or the right time to invest. The pros or the benefits wise, it will be that investing in these high yield savings accounts or fixed deposits with 3 to 5% interest rate, right, is definitely a better way as opposed to you just park it in the normal savings account and you don't do anything with it. And the potential drawbacks, of course, is that you will lose out to inflation because recently inflation is super high. GST increase and everything, eggs go up like 20-30%. And this is ultimately a big deal because if you let it compound over time, your purchasing power will decrease. Which brings me to the next point. And if you're keen in higher returns and don't mind parking the money aside for a long period of time, you can opt for this foolproof, super simple method by going into funds, ETFs, or index funds in general. So this is hands down one of the easiest ways for new beginner investors to get started because when you invest in index funds, you are diversifying into a whole basket of stocks that the fund is tracking at super low cost. For example, in Singapore itself, many of us are familiar with the Straits Times Index, which house local stocks like the one shown here, Citrum, Thai Beverage, Singtel, DBS, OCBC, UB, and more. Okay, so to invest in the STI index, you can just opt for or go for the ETF called SPDR STI ETF or ES3 for the stock symbol. On the other hand, globally, we have the S&P 500, the best well-known index as it invests in the top 500 biggest companies in the world, such as Microsoft, Apple, Alphabet, Meta, Tesla, and more. In fact, according to JP Morgan, the average investor has underperformed the S&P 500 index over a 20 years period with a 3.6% annual return for us average investor versus if you were to just park the money there and just maybe dollar cost average over a long period of time, you are getting 9.5% from the S&P 500 index. That's crazy, right? So to invest in the S&P 500 index, you can go for one of the most popular ETFs called Vanguard S&P 500 ETF or VOO for the stock symbol. And one important thing to note is this. If you have been investing for quite some time, you would have noticed that our STI index, our local index, generally pay a higher dividend yield, but the US indices generally grow much faster because of the component stocks, because of the stocks inside the index. Where you can see that P500 have Nvidia and STI index have Venture Corp. Yeah, you get the picture. Before we get to the next point, I would appreciate it if you can help me to smash the like button, subscribe to my channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss another update on all these financial insights. And as usual, here's a financial meme for you. Next up, what if you're more gung-ho and want to take a more proactive approach to building your investment portfolio? Then you can try investing in individual stocks yourself because it can be an exciting way to achieve potentially higher returns. Like how this janitor right, made the news when he bought and hold these 95 stocks in his portfolio and amassed a whopping $8 million net worth. Okay, then he left most of it to the library and hospital. So by carefully selecting all these quality companies, you can achieve multi-bagger returns and have better control over your own investments. Although this approach may also come with increased risk and requires thorough research and monitoring. But it's definitely worth it, okay, if you think and see this classic example of Amazon. Since the IPO in 1997, Amazon has delivered exceptional returns to investors. Imagine you invested $1,000 in the IPO itself. You would have grown it to 2.3 million on the year 2021, and this year is already 2024. Okay, so investors who bought the Amazon stock early on and held it through the thick and thin, through all the different fluctuations, you would have made a whopping 38% compounded annual return, easily illustrating why me and you love to invest in individual stocks. Higher risk, but very higher returns. This brings us to the last investment strategy, investing in super high risk but super potential high returns, okay, investment products such as cryptocurrencies, derivatives, or even loss-making share stocks like Snowflake, C Limited, and even Grab itself. This is probably the trickiest investment method out there and requires a lot of judgment and mental fortitude from the investor itself. In this episode, I want to talk about Bitcoin, right? The big daddy coin that started the whole crypto bull wave. When Bitcoin was first introduced in 2009, it was virtually worthless. However, over the years, the Bitcoin price has experienced exponential growth and also a lot of roller coaster rides. But it eventually hit an all-time high of over 70,000 US dollars in March 2024 when I'm doing this video right now. No one knows what price it will go up to eventually, but Bitcoin bulls have several reasons to back this thesis. First of which is scarcity and limited supply, because Bitcoin's total supply is capped at 21 million coins, making it a deflationary asset. As a result, Bitcoin is often seen as a hedge against inflation and a store of value, similar to gold itself. The second reason is halving events. So, approximately every 4 years, the rate at which new Bitcoins are created are halved in an event known as halving. Okay, so this event, right, has historically been associated with significantly higher price increases for Bitcoin, as the reduced supply often leads to higher demand and hence higher prices. And over the years, okay, Bitcoin has gained in growing acceptance and increased adoption by many MNCs or asset managers. So they have come to recognize and adopt Bitcoin, right? Which fuel this network effect going forward. Okay, the new Bitcoin ETFs have further contributed to the growing mainstream acceptance and the potential for long-term growth. If you want, you can also check out this video I've done to compare the Bitcoin ETFs by clicking on the link above. To wrap up, choosing the ideal way to invest your $10,000 all boils down to your risk preference and how urgent you are to achieve a particular goal, say $100,000. And based on this calculator, you can see how long it will take to turn $10,000 into $100,000 based on different rates of return. Okay, so let's say, for example, if you want to go for the safe route, okay, a 3% return from the cash plus or fixed deposits, and you want to turn $10,000 into $100,000. So you will require 78 years to 10 times your money. But let's say, okay, we put in $100 every month, and that will equate to 1,200 for every year. And you will reduce it drastically to just 5.6 years, okay, to achieve $100,000. And that becomes very achievable. On the other hand, if you want to hit that $1 million dream, okay, and retire on a comfortable nest egg, and then you should go for higher returns. All right, so let's say you want to park it into the index fund, and let's say going forward, maybe it will come down to 8% annual rate of return. Okay, you will require 23 years. Okay, from $10,000, you put in $100 every month, and based on the 8% required rate of return, you are getting $1 million after 23 years. With that, I hope that you find this video useful. If you have enjoyed this video, do help me to smash the like button, subscribe to my channel, and ring the bell so you never miss another update. Next up, do check out my next video over here if you have another few minutes to spare. And I will see you next time. Thanks for watching and ciao.